With the iPonic controller, you can keep the relative humidity level of your grow room within your own specified normal range. Now from the home screen, hit OK. Go to current set points. And then you want to go ahead and go to humidity set point. Now in the humidity set point screen, you have the following options. Number 4 is for switching between day set points and for switching between night set points. Button number 5 is your humidify set point, and button number 6 is your dehumidify set point. To increase and decrease percentage increments from 1s to 10s, just simply hit button number 1 and simply use the menu wheel clockwise to increase and counterclockwise to decrease your percentage values. When done, hit OK. And finally, button number 8, humidity settings. Unlike temp staging, where equipment turns on and just stays on while in a cooling or heating stage, relative humidity staging gives you a cycle option where you can gradually increase humidity and dehumidity till set point thresholds met plus the deadband. Button number 1 and 2 are for the on time, minutes and seconds, and button number 3 and 4 are for the off time in minutes and seconds. By default, on is set at 2 minutes and off is set at 0, and 0 signifies that cycling is disabled, and the equipment assigned is constantly on during your relative humidity stages. As soon as you put a numerical value for the off, cycling will in fact engage. Now for demonstration purposes, we are going to make our cycle time five seconds on, 5 seconds off. And finally, button number 8 allows you to increase and decrease your deadband. When done, hit the home button to save your changes. Now let's go to the relative humidity stage screen setup. Hit OK and stages, then go to humidity stages. In the humidity stages setup screen, you have the option to set equipment to engage for relative humidity control. Column 1, humidify, column 2, dehumidify, and column 3, cold dehumidify. Your options are override on, no change, and override off. Press button number 3 to change your values, and continually pressing button number 3 to rotate through your options. Once you choose, hit OK. Use button numbers 5, 6, and 7, and 8 to navigate your cursor through the different boxes within the programming screen. Also, an important note, with the iPonic, relative humidity staging overrides temp staging. So if you have devices assigned to both relative humidity and temperature control, the relative humidity state supersedes or trumps temp control. And for our example, AC off in humidify, vent fans and dampers on in humidify with a 5-second on and a 5-second off cycle time, as well as all 3 devices coming on during our temperature cooling stages. Right now the controller is in cool stage 1, and you have your vent fans and you have your AC in auto on to help reduce the temperature. But let's say the relative humidity in the grow room drops. And drops significantly, forcing the controller into the humidification state. As you can see, humidify turned on, But also note that AC is cycling humidification, turning on and off, which is something I would assume we don't want happening because we want our AC constantly on for cooling. To fix this, simply hit OK, go into stages, humidity stages, scroll down to AC, and make this setup. No change. Home, save. And now our AC is back to the cooling cycle. Now on the other hand, your inside temperature might be within the temp set point range, which would display neutral, with the vent fan and dampers programmed to be off but on during your cooling stages. But then let's say all of a sudden your relative humidity goes into the dehumidification state. Once the controller goes into dehumidify, your dehumidification equipment begins to cycle on and off to gradually increase the dehumidity in the grow room, which will reduce the relative humidity level to the set point plus deadband. And finally, we have cold dehume. Now, if the temperature outside is too cold and your normal fan bringing outside air in for dehume operation is not practical, cold dehume is a less aggressive approach in dehumidifying. With cold dehume, you can use optional devices like a heater to reduce the relative humidity levels. To use cold dehume, you would need a Link 4 outside temperature probe installed and mapped to read outside temp. Once it's installed, you will see the low outside temperature set point value here in the humidity settings screen. Now, if low outside temperature gets below 40 Fahrenheit, then the controller will in fact go into the cold dehumidification state. We have our heater to be override on in cold dehumidification, and with our out temp reading 75 degrees Fahrenheit. What we're going to do is change the out temp from reading 75 degrees Fahrenheit to read a much lower value to force this controller into cold dehumidification. And as you can see, the controller has in fact went into the cold dehumidification state. We're in cool stage 1, trying to cool the grow room. Also, we have the heater cycling on and off to try to reduce the relative humidity, because our outside temp threshold is below the threshold that we previously set at 40. And that's our video on advanced humidity control with the iPonic controller.